Yeah, the last thing anyone that knows me would say that I'm encouraging on wellness, since I was blogging about being in remission and the challenges of survivorship and trying to, in fact, avoid a second cancer and doing everything you can not to have one. And then I ended up with one myself. So, and the same mission continues. It didn't alter my stance. In fact, if anything, it's made me more aware of research funding problems because so many women continue to die of breast cancer. And so, it's definitely about encouraging people to be the best, not the best patient, but to get the best care, to do everything within their power to accelerate their wellness or their state of illness, where whatever it is you're living with. But I guess that also leads me to wondering if there was a tipping point that changed any of you from a patient advocate with a capital P to a patient advocate with a capital A. So you were a patient, but then all of a sudden you went through this transition.
I'll talk just, I mentioned before that I wrote an article that appeared in USA Today, and that kind of took on a life of its own. And to delve more deeply into that, what exactly happened is that I got an email from somebody who was a patient who's running a book, so another kind of e-patient kind of perspective, that this person was disabled by myalgic encephalomyelitis, but wanted to write a book about it. And she offered to she wanted to publish my piece in her book, and so that, as a journalist, that was kind of flattering at the beginning, and that really caught my interest, and was definitely very keen on getting my piece republished. And then that, in talking with her and working that piece to get republished, we had extensive conversations about the global state of where myalgic encephalomyelitis was as a disease, and how poorly funded and how poorly understood, and the great degree that mistreatment of patients who have a very severe neuroimmune disease that's most comparable probably to multiple sclerosis, but that they were being put into psych wards. It was quite primitive and offensive, that some of the things that were going on in Europe. And I realized that because I did have access to this platform, I did feel that I had a duty to continue talking about it, because very few other people would. And knowing just how bad it really was for some of the patients, I was actually very blessed to even be able to be capable of working in the first place. But there were so many people who were so ill, not just housebound, but really bedbound for many decades. And that is a story that is just absolutely intolerable. This is the 21st century. We cannot have a widely spread disease that is virtually unknown in medical schools, and that was really the launching point. And I said that this status quo cannot be maintained, and that beginning to understand the global story and the global significance of what needed to be accomplished, that was a major tipping point in my life. And several of the e-patients that I'm probably closest with would agree with this, that they aren't necessarily, you're not in this mode of being a professional patient. You do seek to be a professional something else first, and then your patient perspective informs that. In the same way in which a politician might make objective decisions, but his faith may or may not play a role in that. I think that you can be a professional and enjoy your and enable your personal experience to play into that. But yeah, exactly. As Sheree said, I don't think that as long as you put that out in the open, I think it's great. And and I felt this same paradox in my own life of wanting to be, am I an objective journalist or am I being subjective? And I think, and a lot of people say that in journalism, objectivity isn't even that desirable anymore. If you declare your biases at the beginning, and let everybody know that you're biased, then your words are taken much more seriously, and you're not masking anything. So I think it can be very, very empowering to just say up front, what your values are and what your experience is.